The first thing that I noticed about Megan was obviously how beautiful she was.
Whenever I first seen Alex, I, of course, was immediately like attracted to him. There's this gorgeous man standing there.
We saw this group of girls dancing, and I picked her out right at the beginning of, that girl with the brown hair is so pretty. I'm gonna go and talk to her.
And then the way, I just remember he kept talking to me, and the way he looked at me, like it was just all like so magical.
So before I met Megan, I worked a lot. So I worked at a place called PwC as an accountant.
Before I met Alex, I worked back in Kentucky as a nurse. I'd been a nurse for a year and a half. My life, it was just work, and there wasn't a whole lot to do in Kentucky. So I was just working and going to school at the time, and that was it.
The few times that I was really able to enjoy time with friends or anything else, a lot had to do with times where we would go on vacations together. And one of the big things that my friends and I loved to do was to go on cruises.
Alex and I met on my birthday. I was on a girls' trip. We'd went on a cruise. It was October 30th.
Megan and I actually met randomly, believe it or not, on the cruise ship. We went out late at night. I had a floral shirt on, probably something very similar to this, and I saw a group of girls on the dance floor.
And I was with my friends on the dance floor, and Alex, he was with another one of his friends. I remember we finished dancing, and myself and one of my other friends, we went to the bar, and Alex came up, introduced himself, bought us a drink, and then here we are.
We met on the dance floor and got to talking, and the rest is history.
We were just exploring the cruise, and we'd snuck on to a ice skating rink. And it was so crazy at the moment. And I remember the next day, I was just telling my friend about it. She was like, that's like something you do in a movie. She was like, you done that last night? I was like, yep, we snuck in.
We even ended up sneaking along with a couple of our friends into the ice skating rink on the ship and got out onto the ice with our shoes on, and my friend fell and hurt his tailbone really bad, and we were laughing, and we just had a very adventure-filled, super fun night.
The first kiss, it was the first night that we met each other. We were on the dance floor. Everybody else had kind of left. And we were about to call it a night, and it was magical. We kissed.
The first kiss was on the night that I met Megan. So this was her 25th birthday party on October 30th in the middle of the ocean, just outside of Puerto Rico.
Some of my favorite things about Alex, one, he's got one of the biggest hearts of anyone I've ever met. And I think after 30 minutes of just talking to him, I realized that, and immediately that was like one of the biggest attractions I had to him. And he's so genuine with everybody.
My favorite thing about Megan is her passion. I always joke that she's a little fireball, and I love that about her. And it doesn't matter if she's talking about something that she really cares about, whether it's her patients at work, whether it's her friends, whether it's me, whether it's something that she's not happy about, it doesn't matter. There's always a lot of fire and passion within her, and I love it, even if I sometimes get burned a little bit.
I think Alex will make the most amazing father whenever he don't have like a whole lot of like nieces and nephews that he's ever been around, and whenever my family like comes in, like he was telling me the last time they were here, he just walked out that morning and seen my little niece laying on the couch, and he just started crying. He was like, I just want this.
I have no doubts in my mind whatsoever that Megan will make an absolutely excellent mama, and that she will definitely keep those kids in line, but she will love them more than anyone ever could.
I knew Alex was the one. Whenever I really knew, I remember just after having the best week of my life after meeting him. I was walking off the cruise that day. It was on a Saturday. And I just thought to myself, I was like, what if I never see this guy again? I just couldn't imagine right then and there. Like I just knew, like I couldn't go without seeing him. Like he'd become a part of my life, like someone I'd always knew.
I think Megan and I both had such a strong sense that as we continued to talk, as we continued to keep up with each other, as she continued to really seriously consider a travel nurse position in Atlanta, the more I realized that this was someone that was really willing to chase something that they were really willing to commit to. And you know, the more that she got in my life, and the more that I realized that I really needed her and could not live without her. And I think at that moment, there was no doubt in my mind that I really, truly loved her.
When Alex and I got engaged, we went to New York. He was on a business trip.
When it got time to buy the ring and pop the question, I had a work trip planned to New York City.
He proposed under the Dumbo Bridge. Yes, I was I was standing up there taking a picture, and he came up behind me. Whenever I turned around, he was on one knee.
We had Megan go up and pose in front of a beautiful little vista that overlooked the Brooklyn Bridge and all of New York City's skyline. And we told her to make the Titanic pose and to, you know, keep her arms outstretched and to keep her there. They continue to take pictures and videos. Stay there, Megan, stay there. You got the pose. And I went and got all set, got down on one knee, popped out the ring, and then we told her to turn around. And that was it.
I really wasn't expecting it, but he was just acting so nervous, not like himself. So like I knew something was up, I just couldn't really pinpoint what it was. Yeah.
Megan and I had a fantastic time planning the wedding. I have to give her a lot of credit. Megan is a very, very artistically minded designer brain. She did such a great job with all of the table settings, all these things that she really came up with all on her own. She knew the exact type of flowers to decorate with everything. You know, she put so much thought into the order of events for the evening. She's a fantastic planner, and she's very, very strategic, and everything artistic just had such a touch of care and love put into it that it was really, really masterful. So I was really fascinated with her ability to work. I did weigh in on some things, but overall, I have to give credit where credit's due. Megan just did such a fantastic job with everything to what was on the tables, the table decorations themselves, to the groomsmen's suits, to our boutonnieres, the way that they would look in combination with the color of our ties, the color and style of the bridesmaids' dresses, the venue itself, which she definitely had pegged down as a place that she would want to have a wedding. All of this was really Megan's just great vision. So it was a fantastic time, yeah.
Planning the wedding was definitely a fun experience. I do just have to give the biggest thank you to Alex's parents and now my parents. If it wasn't for Greg and Renee, we couldn't have done it without them. They were such a big help. Alex, and like his schedule's so crazy, my schedule's crazy with working and going to school, and especially being a nurse in these crazy times right now. We just have such hectic times. Like his mom and dad just completely just helped us so much. We couldn't have done it without them.
The moment that I will remember most about the wedding day, I think without a doubt has to be the first moment that I saw her. in her wedding dress, and it was amazing.
I will remember the most on our wedding day probably the first look, because that was the one time the whole day that Alex and I had to ourselves. And before that, I just remember I was so nervous because I was thinking about, I'm gonna have to be in front of all these people, and I hate being the center of attention. So I was like, I'm so nervous. But it was just like the moment that I seen Alex, all that went away, and just like, it was just me and him there, and I knew, I was like, without a doubt, this is my person.
Megan Carpenter Wright is without a doubt my soulmate.
Alex Wright is my best friend. If my dad could have been here today, he would have just loved Alex, and he would have loved every minute of the wedding. And his favorite color was green. So that was like one of my decisions with choosing my bridesmaid dresses, was like a sage green. I just went with the green and ivory flowers. So I packed his charm around my bouquet, so it felt like he was there with me that day. Do you remember?
What's like the first time I made you really, really mad?
He was a terrible texter.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so we can talk about this. So, okay, so I'll start.
Okay.
So we get off the boat, and we communicate a lot, or at least in my mind, I thought I was communicating a lot. I really, cared about this girl, but I was a single man. I was working a lot at a very competitive accounting firm where many times we'd work late, right? And we're actually auditors, so we don't have full desks or anything. We're kind of all packed into a closet, very close range, so it's kind of frowned upon to be on your phone a lot. Well, I don't think Megan appreciated if she texted me at a certain point and I didn't respond for 7 or 8 hours. That was not a good look. She was not happy about that. In the days and weeks and months when we got off the ship, I was going, oh my gosh,
Yeah, my biggest thing, like being from 2 different states, communication over the phone was the only way we got to talk to each other. So it's like he would text me, okay, we'll talk later, and then a day or 2 would go by, and my friend would always say, you better not text him back if he texts you.
Yeah, and I probably wasn't the best in those days, but I mean, that was good because I had to learn how to be better at communication and keeping her looped in. And the more that we went through that chapter of our lives when the future was very uncertain, the more we started to lean into each other, and the closer we got to a point when we were really going to be physically in the same place and date and pursue a relationship. I mean, it's just all been amazing from that point onwards, which has been great. But yeah, I had to get my act together.
Our future together just is happiness with kids and new jobs and a new house.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like our future together is full of a lot of adventure. I think that we'll go on more cruises and beach trips and adventures and travel and fun, adventures that we decide to go on. So I think that it's full of adventure.